Hello again. I am Caner. I am with you today with another video. Today, we are not gonna talk about red light districts at all. Today, we are gonna talk about disadvantages of being an airline pilot. That red light comes from negativity, alright? It's like attention. Before starting, like previous video, I have a disclaimer for you. I want to make this disclaimer beforehand because I don't want you to get me wrong at the end of the video. These disadvantages today that I'm gonna mention are based on me as a 777 pilot who's flying all around the world. Sometimes these disadvantages cannot fit your situation. And also, if you are not a pilot, please bear in mind that these disadvantages are valid for a wide-body pilot. That being said, let's continue with the first item. Okay, the first thing that I would like to mention is not a direct disadvantage of being an airline pilot. It's a reason why people are struggling to become an airline pilot. It's cost. Yeah, you're right. It's a costly thing to become a pilot. Let me give you an example. You're graduated from the college, you are 22, 23 years old, and you want to be a pilot. What the options do you have? Either you need to work a couple of years, depending on how good work you have, so you can save your money for AB initial flight training, or you can ask money from your parents, right? But the problem here is flight training is extremely expensive. Let me give you my own personal example. I joined Turkish Airlines as a cadet. I didn't pay anything until I finished my training. Once my training is over and start working as a pilot, each month there was a deduction from my salary. Whole deduction was 100,000 euros. But the thing is, it was divided to 10 years. But still, it's an expensive training. I wouldn't afford 100,000 euros at the beginning of the training. Now it is even 140,000 euros. Can you imagine? You just finish your graduate degree and then you need to spend 100,000 euros or 140,000 euros just to become a pilot. That's a huge money we are talking about. That's why it's very costly to become a pilot. That's why AB initial flight training is unfortunately blocking many people to become a pilot. That's sad. Let's continue with the second item. You are not at home all the time if you're a pilot. You travel a lot. It means you have a lot of layover out stations. Most of the time, pilots can stay at out stations like 15 days, 16 days. It means that you are not at home for 15 days. If you have kids, if you have a family, if there is someone that you need to take care of, you cannot be with them all the time. That's a little bit sad, but that's the reality of our job. If you're a person who can get homesick easily, you should consider if this job is for you or not. Let me give you another example. I have lots of friends which is not involved in aviation. We're making plan to go out all together. But I am the one always who says, guys, I cannot say anything now. I need to wait for my roster. Even if your roster is published, then you're thinking that, okay, you know what if my roster changed? You cannot do many plans because you always have a chance to be away from your base. It's a little bit problematic. If you make a plan with your friends, if you make a plan with your family gatherings, all special days, it's everything. Let's talk about the vacation. Let's talk about the special days. When most of the people travel to their family, like Thanksgiving days, like Ramadan, most of the time you're flying because this is a busy time for aviation. There should be someone who needs to make those passengers to fly, right? That's the problem here. It's very challenging and you need to adapt very dynamic environment. Actually, the second disadvantages lead us the third one, family life. Yes, unfortunately, I've been getting lots of questions about the family life. I'm not gonna lie you guys, because it's really hard. Do not think like it's like an office job, you are gonna be at home. You and your partner should be okay to have this lifestyle. Because imagine, if you have a kid, he or she can be sick, and at the same time, you can be away from the home base. Literally, you can be at the end of the world. And your partner should be dealing with all of this situation alone. And she or he must be strong enough. The main challenging in that part, I also experience a lot. I see it from my friends, I heard it lots of times. People think that they can manage this kind of situations, but when they experience the things over and over and over again, then it goes a little bit beyond the limits. So the fights are starting, family is affected by that, kids are not happy, and unfortunately, at the end of the day, divorces can happen. I just read an article about it. It was saying that there's a high divorcement rate among the pilots. I don't know if it's a scientific fact or not, but there's a fact that it's not as easy as normal office job, whereas you are at home most of the time. That's the important thing. But there's also one small advantage out of it. You really miss your loved ones when you go for a flight. After coming 5 days trip, you feel like, you just met with her or him again. Okay, the fourth one is the worst for me. I bet it's also worst for most of the pilots. The fourth one is night flights. No matter how long you have been a pilot, or no matter how long you're flying an airplane, it doesn't matter. Still, you struggle when it is night, because we have low circadian rhythm at night, especially if the flights are 3, 4, 5 a.m. Oh, it's terrible. It's really difficult. The flight somehow you manage, but you need to be careful because your performance is really degraded. But the challenging part is after flight. Literally, if you have 3, 4 back-to-back night flights, the next days you were like vampire. You're sleeping in the morning and you're awake at night, and sometimes you don't even know which day you are in, what time is it, where you are. I'm not kidding. Sometimes I find myself, what am I doing here? What time is it? It's very challenging. And sometimes, even if you are living with someone, you don't see each other a couple of days, though you're living at the same house. And your body is affected a lot. In the short term, maybe you feel like it's nothing, I am young, I'm not that affected by this, but believe me, in the long term, it's very difficult and challenging. That's why you need to manage your sleep, especially for the night flights. Okay, the next thing is irregular work patterns, because it's very challenging. Sometimes you're flying towards the east, you come back to home, then a couple of days later, you're flying towards the west, and you have huge amount of time zone differences in between. You are literally like, where am I now? What am I doing here? What time is it? When should I sleep? When you literally, sometimes you went to sleep at 9 a.m. while everyone is waking up and going their work, or already they started their work. It's very challenging. It's same for night and day shifts. If you work on a regular basis, it's okay. Like let's say 3 days night, 3 days work, each of them is 8 hours, you can adjust yourself. But somehow, if you're flying, let's say 12 hours day, then 9 hours night, then again 8 hours day, then 10 hours night, your body is, just getting confused, and your circadian rhythm is also affected from that, and there is no time for recovery. That's very challenging. And also the transition between the flights to another flight is challenging. Sometimes you have 1 day off, sometimes you don't have any days off in between, sometimes you have 3 days off. That transition is not constant, it's not fixed. That's why you are highly affected by this transition. If you are working an office job, your body is well adjusted with the working hours. You automatically wake up before alarm because your body knows when you need to get up. But if you're flying, it's very challenging. For me personally, I set up 3 alarms because I don't want to miss any duty just because I'm sleeping. It's very difficult. The sixth one, you're exposed to high risk while you're performing your duties. You're flying at 40,000 feet, 41,000 feet, or 39,000 feet. Most of the time, you're getting exposed to sunlight more than the average population. It creates extra risks of getting cancer when you are older. If you look at the wider perspective for a longer term, you have a way more chance to get sickness compared to rest of the population. That's the important thing. And also, since it's important, you have been checked either one or twice a year for medical cases. You have to succeed and pass medical check each year. They are checking your blood, internal body, and blood pressure, sugar rate, diabetics, everything that you can think of. Psychology, drug alcohol test, this kind of things. You have been checked non-stop for your entire career. That's the important thing, you know. Normally, how often a regular person can check himself? We have to do it, but I can assure you that most of the people are not doing it twice a year. And if something minor happens, their jobs are not affected. Let me give you some small example. If you have tonsillitis, okay, you can take a day off and you can just go to work next day. Or you can take a pill and move on, continue your life. But if you're a pilot, it's not like this. Your medication, you should care about your medication because there are some pills that you cannot use while flying. There are some pills which brings your sleep. You are not allowed, if you are taking these pills, so during that entire time, you cannot fly. And everything that you have is just piled up in your record. Of course, some small minor sickness, they're not important. But if you get sick quite often, they will piled up all together, where it comes to a point, I'm 100% sure, your company will start complaining about it. It's not about a single company. I can assure you each company will start complaining about it, that they will say you that you are not efficient. So, as a pilot, we need to take care of ourselves very well. That's why we have a high risk of getting sick, because we are changing climate, we are changing altitude, we are exposed to many factors that the normal person doesn't expose. That kind of things bring you high risks that needs to be managed very well. By knowing that fact, as a pilot, we need to take care ourselves very well. The last thing, job security. Unfortunately, aviation sector is very fragile. When you look at the examples, you can always see that aviation is the #1 sector which has been affected by the crisis, by the epidemics, by outbreaks such as wars, tensions, 9/11, mortgage crisis. The first sector was always aviation, because people are not gonna fly, people are not gonna go vacation, and people are gonna sell their plane, or people are gonna shrink their fleets when they have crisis. They would like to be in the more conservative size all the time. But at the same time, the companies are making their plans based on, they're gonna expand. The problem here, if you are in the seniority-driven company, if you are a junior guy, most probably you will be the one who's gonna kicked out from the business, or you are gonna be the one who's gonna be furloughed. That's the challenging thing. If you are in the US or if you are in any other airline, your job seems like secure, but in fact, it's not like this. Last pandemic showed us that it's very fragile. Thousands of pilots or aviation-related jobs have been lost because of pandemic. Unfortunately, this is a bad example, but that's how it is. So you should consider these possibilities if you are planning to become a pilot, and likewise, if you are a pilot. What I'm doing to mitigate that risk, I always save my money. At least it will be good enough for me to live without a job 1.5 years. Because you never know. There are people now outside who didn't fly for 2 years. That's also a possibility, unfortunately. We, as a pilot, should prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. So we are practicing a lot, we are trying to improve ourselves a lot, but at the same time, we should be prepared for the job losses, and we keep mental health healthy as much as possible. That's it, guys. Today we have concluded 7 disadvantages of being an airline pilot. If you have further disadvantages that I didn't mention, I would like to hear from you. Please go ahead and drop a message down to me. I will read each of your messages. And as usual, please do not forget to subscribe my channel. If you like my videos, you can even make me happier. Your video likes, subscriptions and comments really makes me motivated. So I'm more motivated, I'll make more videos for you guys. And before leaving, if you hit the bell button, you can even get the notifications once I upload new videos. That's it for today. See you in the next videos. Bye bye.